Google just made a huge leap with robotics. Check it out. Google just released Gemini Robotics on device, which brings AI to local robotic devices. They said they're introducing an effective on-device robotics model with general purpose dexterity and fast task adaptation. They said in March they released the Gemini 2.0 multimodal reasoning and real-world understanding into the physical world, but today they're introducing Gemini Robotics, which is an on-device one, which is their most powerful vision language action model optimized to run locally on robotics devices, which is different from the previous Gemini 2.0, which had to run on the cloud basically. This one can actually run and be used all on a device that's connected to the robot. They said since the model operates independent of data network, it helps the latency, sensitivity application, and ensures robustness in environments with intermediate or zero connectivity. So basically you can put this on a robot and it can perform tasks without needing like an internet connection. It can do this just by understanding the world around it, which is a very powerful AI model and it definitely helps push robotics into the future. They said that they're sharing also the Gemini Robotics SDK to help developers easily evaluate Gemini Robotics on devices on their task and environment tests. Not only that, they say that Google Gemini is able to learn new things just by teaching it 50 to 100 times. So 50 to 100 demonstrations. But that's not all. They even have a big update and cool examples later on that I will be showing you. But as for the model's capability and performance, Gemini Robotics on device is a robotics foundation model for bi-arm robotics, which means two-arm. Engineered to require minimal computational resources, it builds on the task generalization and dexterity capabilities of Gemini Robotics and is designed for rapid experimentation with dexterity manipulation, adapts to new tasks through fine-tuning to improve performance, optimized to run locally with low latency inferences, which is amazing, honestly. So it's actually faster than the one that's not local to it, because instead of it having to maybe make a call out, like an API call out to the AI that's on the cloud, the AI is all on the system. So it cuts down on how long it takes for the knowledge to go back and forth from a visual or for an action or some type of new input altogether, even audio input. Maybe you give it an audio command. And they say Gemini Robotics on device achieves strong visual semantics and behavioral generalization across a wide range of testing scenarios. So Gemini Robotics on device achieves a strong visual semantic and behavioral generalization across a wide range of testing scenarios, follows natural language instructions, and completes high dexterous tasks like unzipping bags and enfolding clothes, all while operating directly on a robot. As you see in the video here, you see the robot being told to put certain things inside of a drawer and is able to see these objects as well as interact with them and do things based off visual that they see in real time. Can you put certain blocks of certain colors into a bin? Can you unzip a lunchbox? And so on and so forth. But not only that, they do have different evaluation models. They say in their evaluation, their on-device model exhibits strong generalization performance while running entire local AI. So they do have this one where it's a generalization benchmarks, which is results across 9 different tasks. What 9 different tasks? I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure they're selected very selectively to make sure that the outcomes are probably impressive. Your data can be manipulated in certain ways, but just for the video, we're going to say that this is a good graph depicting that AI is doing really good, right? So it says for visual generation and semantic gen and action gen, we see that for visual gen, the Gemini Robotics and the Gemini Robotics on device are basically neck and neck, with the previous best on device is lagging behind severely. We see the same thing for semantic gen and action gen. The only difference here is that the Gemini Robotics on device is lagging behind the Gemini Robotics, which is the cloud one, a little less. So, but still pretty good. Don't get me wrong, on device is good for fast, but for more robust actions and maybe things that may take a little bit more processing, of course cloud would be better in that situation. But they do have another one where it's instruction following benchmarks, and we see a similar thing to the semantic generation and action gen, where of course the Gemini Robotics is higher than the Gemini Robotics on device, but it's not that far ahead. But the Gemini Robotics on device is much higher than the previous best on device model. They also have one for the adaptation time, and we see that it's a similar story where the Gemini Robotics is high and the on device is not, but also not too far behind, is the best, but it's still first, second, third, with Gemini Robotics being the leader. They even talk about dexterity when it comes to these, where it has this robot putting on a belt on a gear into a pulley system and making it work, which is absolutely insane. They also have this one right here where it has this person, well, this robot that is putting different items inside of a bag, like a shirt, a cube, and into the gift bag. And you're just giving it commands verbally and it does it. They also said that, of course, they have responsibility and safety. They always say that, oh, we're going to be safe with AI and the robots and all this other stuff, but who knows, right? We could have a Terminator situation in a few years. But not only that, they did say this model was developed using a certain type of robot, but they seen that using this AI across other robots are still good. They said, while we trained our model only on the ALOHA robots, we were able to further adapt it to bi-arm Franca FR3 robots and the Apollo humanoid robot by Aptronic. So meaning that this AI should be able to adapt to other robots, even though it was trained on data using one type of robot. It can do one-handed and two-arm robotic task, which is pretty interesting. This is definitely a step in the right direction when it comes to robots. Kind of iffy on how this will impact us in the future, whether it will replace us or not. But tell me what you think down below. Do you think that this is pretty cool, or do you think that this is absolutely scary and we need to be destroying all this AI robotics? If you want to keep up the latest and greatest AI news, you should definitely like and subscribe. With that being said, your boy Dex, not Dexter, out.